and this is Line Locked.
Man, that was grisly.
I know. You're listening to
that's smoker noise there.
damn.
We'll finish it up.
Okay, this is Line Locked from the BBR Studios. Man, I just totally screwed that all up. All right, we're going with it though. This is episode 18.
Yes, 1-8. Hey, we used to be able to buy cigarettes. I think you got to be 21 now, but
yes. Hey, I remember buying cigarettes from our mother. For our mother when I was like 7. I seriously
I had different restrictions back then. Huh?
She'd give me like $1 bill because that's all they cost back then. $1 bill told me to go down to the convenience store and buy a pack of cigarettes.
Jesus,
that's how long ago that was. Mom has not smoked in forever.
Yeah.
But
man, we have a great episode for you guys. I need you guys to stay listening because we had a really interesting conversation with the track manager of Beech Park. Or Raceway.
Yes.
Is Broc Porter. So that's going to be our guest today here in just a few minutes after we get done with the top front of this podcast.
I want to say that a few episodes ago, we had Rich from ARC, which is Auto Rod Corporation, and they do all the switch panels for the race cars and stuff and some other things. And I got one of my products in the mail the other day. It is
the ribbon cable.
The new ribbon cable.
Yeah.
Yes. It is very solid. Rubber and not an actual ribbon.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I think I saw it at PRI, but that's a really nice quality cable.
And so one of the things that Rich was even saying is that the ribbon cable was kind of like their shortcoming before, and now they've brought out this new product that is going to eliminate any issues with that and the insulation part of the cable. The other big thing that I'm really, really excited about.
I'm stoked for you too.
Yes. So Rich set me up with this brand new 8-switch panel, and it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's a carbon fiber overlay.
Yeah. The biggest thing for me, the biggest selling point was this big old red button right here that says kill on there. If you race cars, that if you need to shut off your ignition really fast, that's a good way to do it, and it's lit up and everything, and it's beautiful. It's just I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
What's also exciting is that Rich is giving us permission to give out a $50 gift certificate for ARC. And stay tuned to the end of the show, and we're going to give you a quick trivia question, and we're going to have you email us your answer, and then we're going to pick, draw. Maybe we'll draw from a hat.
Well, depending on how many we get, we'll figure it out.
But somebody's going to win $50 straight money from ARC. You just tell them what you want. And
coupon from ARC.
Well,
they ain't going to send you $50.
No. Well, I'm saying
it's not like
$50 off. It's not like a % off or anything. It's $50.
$50.
If what you buy is $50, then you got that product.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's cool.
It's good. Yeah.
We appreciate Rich for doing that to us for us. That's cool.
Yeah,
really cool of him to do that. So make sure you stay to the end so you can try to figure out that trivia question. It's not that hard, guys. It'll be easy for you.
Yeah.
And if you're needing some new auto rod control stuff, this is your chance to save a little money.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. All right. Well, we never did make a intro thing for TikTok tragedies.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to do that because that was pretty.
That's terrible. Hey, maybe next episode we'll have an intro and maybe even like a logo behind us about it. I don't know. Chris needs to get on that. He's a designer guy.
Yeah, we'll try that.
So we need to get that going. And my first one. This is something that it's been played before. You've probably seen it. A lot of people have seen it, but I just ran across it again, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Whoa, goodness. Is that too loud?
Whoa, what's going on here? Right. There we go.
So this is Jay Leno's little crash in Hemi Under Glass. So I'm not sure what speedway this is at.
He's in that car?
Yeah, have you seen this?
No, I've not seen it.
Okay. So Hemi Under Glass, if anybody don't know, they put a Hemi just behind the driver's seat. So that he could do wheelies all the way down track. And I've seen him run a couple times. Have you?
I've seen the car, not seen Jay Leno drive.
No, he wasn't driving it. He's a passenger.
Okay, all right.
But he, I forget the name. He's a very famous guy. Somebody comment down below who drives Hemi Under Glass because it's a famous guy. But he's been at Beech Bend, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
We've seen him do quarter-mile passes.
Oh, definitely. Two wheels.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So here is that little crash. Yeah, so what I think happened was, he did the wheelie thing, and then when he came down, he noticed how fast he was going and how close he was to the wall, so he turned. And then when he hit the embankment, it gave it enough little leverage to turn over. Wow. That was a pretty violent, right?
And that was, I'm glad those guys are okay, but it was really cool to see the inboard camera.
Yeah, you want to see it one more time?
Yeah, let's see it one more time.
We'll do it one more time.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Keep his arms inboard versus letting them fly out that window.
Yeah, so a lot of times, especially because they don't even have window nets, which is kind of dangerous if you ask me. You should have at least a window net. But some of the guys will have pins on their arms too that
hold them down,
the seatbelt so they can't go that far out. But yeah, pretty crazy little crash there. What do you guys think about that? Somebody comment down below who that guy is, because I know he would be over here. I know this guy is famous. I just can't remember his name off right now. Anyway, tell me. All right, the next one. This is something you might have seen as well.
All right.
Whoa.
What the heck is going on? Is his accelerator stuck or something? Oh.
He's still finished in his own lane.
Oh, my gosh.
He finally gets it shut down.
Wow.
And then parachute.
Oh.
It finally, I mean, we laugh, but it's terrible to laugh at this.
Yeah.
But the parachute barely blossomed before he hit the wall.
Holy cow.
Pretty wild, right? One more time?
Yeah, one more time.
Yeah,
one more time.
So I don't even know what kind of car this is, but they both got squirrely.
Yeah. And he crossed in front of the other guy like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. Well, but the best part is he lands, he does 2 barrel rolls, lands, goes to his own lane, guns it.
He's like, he wanted the other guy's lane, period.
No, I think maybe he was just doing a blocking pass.
Wow, I mean, guys.
Yeah,
wow.
pretty lucky. We assume it's a stuck throttle. Yeah. I doubt he landed and goes, "Hey, I'm back in my own lane. I'm going to keep going." But
no.
You know, it's pretty crazy. I'm wondering what kind of rules there are as far as if you roll in your own lane and then land on your wheels and keep going, can you still win the race? Somebody tell me down there. Is that possible?
Yeah. So the other part of this is he crossed the lane. Now, he crossed the center stripe first.
Yes.
But then the other guy crossed.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
First or worst, yeah.
But he made it to the finish line first.
Yeah, yeah. So he still lost, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that. But nonetheless, can you crash in your own lane? You never cross anything. You don't leave any debris either. Just a quick little rollover, you land, and somehow you stay straight and you end up finishing the race. Can you still win like that? Somebody that's a rule guy, tell me.
I would say you probably could.
It'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
All right, so that was our TikTok tragedies. If you want to tell us or show us some of your own, make sure you email us right up the top here. It says linelockpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your TikTok tragedies, and we'll talk about them.
Yeah.
So we need to do the news real quick.
Yes, let's do the news.
Here we go.
Line Lock News with Corey. Go.
Hey, that was terrible.
That was terrible. I was sitting there enjoying the music. I was like, wait, am I supposed to be saying something here?
Hey, and for you guys, I labeled them. I know which ones they are now. So I just heard of a guy that we know, or not know, we don't know him personally, but we know his name. He did the most Blood Brothers thing I've ever heard of.
Oh, my gosh.
Not being a blood brother. So Larry Dixon, he flies 9,000 miles to run Top Fuel in Australia Day Nationals in Sydney.
Oh.
9,000-mile trip, okay? So that is 51 hours round trip to go over there and run Top Fuel dragster at the, Rapserian Autosport International, the team owner of I'm screwing all this. I don't know how to say that word.
This is
we're going to keep moving on with that. Only end up being a spectator. he got it fired up on a Friday, and then he couldn't get it to run again.
Oh, now I see where you're going with the Blood Brothers thing. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, doesn't that suck?
Yeah.
9,000 miles and 51 hours of flying and to not even be able to qualify.
Oh. Gosh, I wonder what the problem was.
Larry, come on the podcast and let us know what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I've read an article on it. They were having some electronic issues, and they boiled it down to some kind of fiber optic cable. But that's kind of the reason. But I still want to hear the story on that. I mean, that's a long time of flying there, getting excited, and then a long time being pissed off on the way back.
If he had the new ribbon cable from Arc Modules.
Hey, Larry Dixon, hit up our boy over at Rich over at Arc Modules.
Yes.
Arc Controls, Auto Rod Controls. There you go. Yeah, you need to get a new set of a new rig. Hey, stay tuned, Larry. At the end of this podcast, we can save you $50.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're watching, Larry. Appreciate you being a viewer.
He might need that money after all the money he spent probably flying to Sydney, Australia.
I'm hoping he's not too upset if he actually does watch this podcast. We're sorry, buddy. It's just it's a blood brother thing. We do that. We show up to tracks unprepared, and sometimes we don't even get to qualify.
Yes, exactly.
All right. This is not news. I just want to clarify. We talked a couple episodes ago about how much it costs. Larry Dixon, we talked about an episode, how much it costs to run a top fuel car. Clay Milliken was on the Cooper Bogetti podcast, and he actually talked about how much it costs his team, real numbers. So he is obviously a small team. He's got one car, small crew. This isn't comparing this to John Force or Tony Stewart that have multiple cars or whatever, but for his team, it's $15,000 per pass.
Per pass.
Plus any broken parts.
Ooh.
If they can't reuse them, then that's an added cost to this thing. That's crew, normal maintenance, fuel, rigs, and travel, the whole deal. If you take the entire cost of the whole program there, divide it by how many laps he's made, $15,000 is what it costs him.
Oof.
We also talked about how much, and this is on a different podcast, we talked about how much the payout was. We didn't know for Top Fuel. $50,000 is all they get. He's talked about that as well.
So they're not even really probably breaking even.
No, hell no, they're not breaking even.
Yeah.
I mean, $15,000, that's you just get done with qualifying because at $45,000, that's 4 runs or whatever.
Basically, your sponsors is what's making you
50.
your money and paying for all the other stuff. $50,000 may, what's that? 3.5 passes.
Closely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not enough.
Yeah.
I mean, the most qualifiers, they just actually released some of the races like U.S. Nationals, they're going to have 5 qualifying passes. Normally they'll have 3 or 4. And U.S. Nationals, they have 5 this year. I mean, you're already out of the money right there.
Yeah. And if you can't get it started, then you're not getting any winnings.
Yeah.
And you just done all those laps and not getting anything at all.
Obviously, Clay probably wouldn't go into this, but I would love to ask him, just on a sidebar conversation, like as a driver, what does he get out of that, like a bonus wise? Because I'm assuming some of that 50's got to go back to the sponsor, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
A portion of it anyway.
Yeah.
And then what's kind of his take on it? And what does he give his guys from it? Stuff like that would be cool to know. He's a pretty open guy. He may actually answer them, but then again, there may be some non-disclosure forms or something he signed. Yeah. Stuff that we don't know nothing about. Yeah. We disclose everything.
The only winnings we get is what we win at.
Yeah, we don't know nothing about winnings either.
Yeah.
No, actually I do. let me revert your gaze.
Okay. Right, the only winning I get is when they put an extra French fry in my bag on accident.
Winning.
Yes.
All right, so what we're going to do now is take a quick little break. We're going to come back with Broc. Man, we really enjoyed having him on the podcast, so make sure you comment down below that you enjoyed seeing him and talking to him. He's such a great guy. The track is awesome. So give us just 30 seconds of your time, take a little ad break. We'll be right back.
All
right, we're back.
All right, our special guest this week is I'm going to call it the world famous.
100%.
100% world famous Beech Bend Raceway. Down in Bowling Green, Kentucky. He is a track manager of this location. It's one of our favorite tracks. Yeah. It is Broc Porter. How you doing, Broc?
Good. Thank you all for having me on tonight.
Yeah. Hey, we appreciate you coming on. I got to tell you, your track is the most special track in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
I have a lot of favorites, so I hate saying that, but it's my first time ever going down a drag strip was on your all's track. And, it's very special to me. I love it. The whole nostalgia thing of it. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with Beech Bend?
Yeah, I appreciate you all saying that's your favorite, or this is your favorite racetrack. Luckily, we hear that a lot, and it never gets old. That means a lot to us that people enjoy coming to our house because that's the way we feel it is. It's, we're inviting you all into our home ever so often during the year, and we're glad to have you, and we're glad you enjoy coming to visit us. So, I'll get into a little bit of backstory on me. My name's Broc Porter, track manager here at Beech Bend Raceway. Been working here at the racetrack for about 20 years. Not exactly sure when I started. I grew up around the racetrack. Like a lot of people in my position, grew up playing as a kid and doing oddball jobs here and there and progressed into bigger roles. The first interest at Beech Bend Raceway of mine was stock car racing. when I was a kid, probably 5th, 6th grade, whatever age that is, started coming to the stock car races, which also, for some that may not know, Dallas Jones was my grandfather that owned the facility. He passed away this past February, just about a year ago.
Let me touch on that real quick. I want to tell you, he was an amazing guy. Always a smile on his face. He was stern, though. You know, he was a stern guy, but he was always very nice, very humble. You would barely know he was the owner of the place, you know, because I saw him picking up trash cans and stuff like that. He did it all, and he was such a great guy. It's
absolutely
be very sorely missed.
Yep, he will. He was pretty amazing what all he was able to accomplish in life, and worked hard every day. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I started coming up, you know, as a kid, and a lot of times in the summer, my mom, to get me out of her hair, she would send me to the racetrack with Peppaw for the day. So I would get to come out here and run around on scooters and be wild all day, you know, not a care in the world while he worked, and then we'd head back home. But yeah, I started coming up for the stock car races. Was a big fan of stock car racing back then. And a few years later, started getting more interested in the drag racing side of things. You know, worked water box, staging lane, starting line, picked up trash, you know, everything that you have to do to make events go, and just kind of progressed from there into the role that I'm in today.
So basically, from lawn care to track manager, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and still do some of the lawn care.
Yeah,
I think that's janitor to manager.
Janitor to manager. It's good.
Yeah.
No, man, and I tell you,
I hadn't heard that before, but that's great.
There is a lot of grass on that property as well, so there's a lot to do.
Yes, absolutely. You don't realize how much until, you know, nobody's here and you're out mowing one day. But, but yeah, I still hop on a mower every now and then and cut some grass.
I'd assume as soon as you get done, you just start back on the other side, right?
Yeah. If you're lucky to get done, we have about 360 some acres here between the park, the racetrack, and the campground. Yeah. So yeah, it literally, you mow every day of the week that you got somebody that wants to be on a mower.
Wow. Yeah. You know, mowing's a lot of fun though. I wouldn't mind. I mean, it probably limited amount of time. I'm sure eventually get bored.
Not 24/7.
You know, but pop in some tunes or a good podcast. Yeah.
Hey, interesting thing, and I don't know if you knew this or not. Our grandfather, there's a picture we have of him at Beech Bend in the campground.
What year do you think that was? 60s or something?
It was black and white photo, and they used to call him the Hoosier hippie. Yeah. So we got a photo of it. Maybe I can find it. We'll pop it up back here.
That would be cool. Let's see if we can find that.
I'll see if we can find that.
They went down there. I think pretty much yearly.
It was a yearly trip for them down to the Beech Bend.
And he would dress up as a hippie, and that's why people would call him the Hoosier hippie. And you just walk around the campground and that'd be friendly. Yeah. So we kind of have history.
Great.
We actually tried to look for, because there's a big tree behind him that was pretty recognizable.
Yeah.
So our history with the track a little bit, other than that, was we used to come just as spectators to back at that time it was the Hot Rod Reunion. So we stayed a lot in the campground during that period. So while we were down there one year, we tried trying to figure out where that would have been at, because you still have some really old trees down in the campground area.
Yeah, we've got a lot of old trees down there, and actually we've lost a lot. We've had some bad storms the last few years, and have lost a lot of our old trees. But you're right, there's beech trees down there. It's got to be over 100 years old, and we're trying to replace them, though. We actually planted 60 trees this December.
Wow.
Scattered out amongst the property, and I didn't think we were ever going to get done putting them in the ground, but just one of the things you do to try to keep things like they are.
100%. Tell us real quickly, kind of, I know you've been around for 20 years, but the track's been around a lot longer than that. Do you know some of kind of the history? Do you know who? Because Dallas wasn't the original owner. He purchased it.
He was not the original. Dallas actually purchased the facility in December of '84, and '85 was his first season here at Beech Bend Raceway. I don't know the exact history of the racetrack. I know a lot of bits and pieces of it. It started out, Beech Bend started as a camping area or like a picnic area in the late 1800s. Oh, wow. I'm thinking like 1898, somewhere around that time frame.
There were still pilgrims there.
Yeah. And then around the 1946 time frame, as soldiers were coming home from war, they started picnicking out here on Sunday afternoons and racing their motorcycles. They cut a dirt track, a dirt oval, and started racing motorcycles. And of course, that progressed, and I think it's about 2 years later, started racing cars on a dirt oval. And then, from what I've been told, 1956 is when they started drag racing. And I don't know if that's when the track was cut and they actually started drag racing, or if they drag race some on the front stretch of the oval track, or what. But the front stretch of the oval track, the start finish line, was also the start line for the drag strip, so it shared a start and finish line there. Mm-hmm. But and then the track was turned the way you see it today.
Uh-oh, lost some audio.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
But yeah, the track was originally kind of went down the right side. You can see a patch of asphalt on the right side of our track still over in between the fence and the track. Mm-hmm. And that was the original location of the drag strip.
Okay.
In the early 70s is whenever the Garvin family turned it to its current configuration and put the wooden grandstands in and all of that.
The most iconic thing about that place too.
Yep, absolutely. But that was sometime around 71 or 73.
Whenever you see pictures of, drag racing or small videos or whatever, it's almost immediately you recognize whether it's at Beech Bend or not.
Yep.
Just something about that track, the color of the concrete, the announcer booth, the stands, all of that, the big Holly sign, all of that, for whatever reason, you can almost pick it out instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very lucky for that. I've noticed that and been told that before, but yeah, it's pretty neat being able to. And I recognize it because I'm here all the time, but it's good to hear other people, that are able to say, hey, that's Beech Bend as soon as they see a photo.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
One neat thing, I don't know if you all know it, the grandstands on the left side, the chairbacks, come out of a baseball stadium in Nashville that was tore down in the late 1960s.
Oh.
And I don't know if they are the original bleachers that were in that baseball stadium, but that stadium was built in 1927.
Oh, cool.
It was a minor league park. So, there's a chance that those bleachers that are here today are nearly 100 years old.
Yeah.
Now, they may not be, because I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
But hey, yeah, it's a
let's round up. It's 100 years old as far as I'm concerned. They're still comfortable too. They're real comfortable.
Yeah, some of them are in decent shape. Yeah. We're working on some and trying to replace some boards on them. They, some get weathered more than others, but it's one of those things that, we're going to be faced with a decision probably sometime in the near future. What do we do with them? Because they are getting older, but you hate to, we don't want to do away with them. We want to try to preserve them the best we can.
Yeah. Well, if you do decide to remove them, whatever reason, and then replace them with something else, you got to go something with the same style. To kind of, because that's the whole thing, that, and I think you should sell off the old stuff, maybe to us, we would take a rack of them,
a rack,
do an auction or something.
Yeah,
with them.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, that's history, man. That is definite history.
Well,
right there.
You only get one first, as far as going down a drag strip or whatever in life,
Yep.
And that was my first, so I'll never forget it. And it was just the coolest thing,
And it's good to hear that story about why those are back seats versus the other side, which are not. I didn't know what the reasoning was behind it. That makes sense.
And you never see backs on bleacher seats.
Yeah.
You rarely see it. And, to have them at the drag strip was, it's really, they're not bad. They're very comfortable.
Yeah.
Little, maybe sometimes you use a little foam pad or something on your butt, and that's it. Real comfortable. Cool. Let's talk a little bit of, so we talked a little bit about the history of the track. Is there any kind of future improvements that you kind of got in I know we talked about the bleachers there. Is there anything else kind of going on?
Nothing major planned for right now. We've done some improvements this fall, paved a couple of spots in our pit area and over by our tech shed, built a new tech shed. Actually built that during the season, but we added a structure behind it. had Kurt Johnson come in a couple of weeks ago and resurface our starting line and grind the transition at the 8th mile from concrete to asphalt.
That's a big name.
Doing a lot of maintenance on chain link fence and stuff like that. So right now we're focusing on just maintaining and doing some upkeep, some stuff like that. As far as future major improvements, hopefully we add some additional paved parking down on the top end of the racetrack. That's always something we look to do. But one thing it's always kept us from kind of doing that is we do get flooded here from time to time. I know some of you have seen the pictures, and that area gets flooded early and first. And with flood waters and pavement, it can sure tear some stuff up. So that's one reason we've kind of not done that in the past. But hopefully we'll be able to pave some of that in the future.
Pavement is nice. Don't get me wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but particularly on the Nostalgia Nationals this year, I kind of like the grass. When you're there for 4 or 5 days, it's nice to have some grass.
Yeah,
it's nice not to only be on pavement. So, and that's one of the draws of that place is you kind of have a mixture of both.
Yeah, and for most of our events, we have enough to keep everybody, happy and satisfied. And the grass can be a whole lot cooler in June, July, and August than the pavement.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's I like it because it's always hot during the Hot Rod Nationals.
Yeah.
I keep smashing those things together.
Wally Parks.
I keep screwing up. Do you screw it up too? Because you've been calling a Hot Rod Union for 13 years.
Yeah, it's a Hot Rod reunion. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yes.
But no, I screw it up all the time. It's hard to remember to call it the Nostalgia Nationals. And then y'all probably remember, Good Guys used to be called the Nostalgia Nationals. So now it's kind of like going back to that.
Yeah, I like the name. I think it's cool. But the Hot Rod Reunion, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just one of those things I just don't want to change. But I just love the way that sounds.
It's nostalgia.
Yeah, maybe that's what
the
it is.
The name is nostalgia. So it's
So let's talk a little bit about some future events that you have going on. I've kind of made a list of some of the ones you have going this year that's currently on your schedule. I'm sure this will obviously kind of change, or you'll be adding to, but you always have some big events. Let me scroll down just a touch here. You always have some pretty big events. One being the LS Fest in September. It's a major big event for you guys. I'm not sure in the grand scheme of things or what is your biggest event, but I know that one's definitely up there as far as crowd count and everything.
Mm-hmm. LS Fest is definitely our biggest event. Can't remember what year it outgrew everything else, but for probably 3 to 5 years now, it's been our biggest event, reaching nearly 50,000 people in attendance over a 3-day period.
And not only do you have the drag strip, but you have some drifting and everything too. So there's a lot to take in and consume there.
Yeah, some people find it hard to believe it's our biggest, but they don't realize that, the stands at the drag strip may not be packed during that event, but the stands on the oval track are packed. The stands on the back stretch of the oval are packed. The pit area is packed. The vendor midway is packed. It's just, there are people everywhere at that event. And then about 2 years ago, they added an off-road element to it and brought in some Ultra 4 style trucks.
Okay.
And made a little play course for them up on our farm.
I was wondering what that was.
Yep.
I was wondering why you had that there. I thought we were doing dirt bike racing.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you were doing there. Yeah, so that makes sense.
Well, you might be in luck next year if you like motorcycle racing. So.
Yeah. Okay, cool. One of the other events, some other stuff that I see that's listed is you got the 100K race coming up in May. I'm assuming that's a pretty large event for you. I mean, it's a big dollar race.
It's the TB Promotions race. Tyler and Brian do a great job with that race. We have a very strong following of bracket racers in our area. We're very, very fortunate in that fact that not only during that race, but we run 3 $10,000 events during the year, one in March, one July, and one October that are heavily attended by bracket racers. We have 18 Sunday bracket races scheduled this year on a local grassroots level. Average about 200 cars a day throughout the year on those events.
That's a good turnout.
Yeah, we're very blessed with a strong following of racers in this area.
Why you have them there though is because you have such a nice track. Honestly,
we'd like to think so.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, but yeah, and then just an overview of our schedule, if you don't mind me going over it.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
We've got about 120 days of racing scheduled for this year. I haven't counted them up exactly, but it's going to be a long season. We'll start testing and tuning in March, and then we'll race all the way through November. But some of our big events, we have the NHRA Sports National Open on Memorial Day weekend. The NMCA series is coming back for the first time since 2018. They're going to have the Muscle Car Mayhem event the first weekend of June, so we're excited about that. They're talking about bringing some motorcycle stunt shows, a monster truck, and
cool.
some different things besides just drag racing to that one. Then not long after that will be the Wally Parks Nostalgia Nationals. So I hope that's another good event this year. Last year was strong for it. So hopefully they'll keep on gaining some steam and have another good year.
Hopefully NHRA and the Nostalgia Top Fuel guys can get along this year, because I know that was an issue last year. Hopefully they figure it out.
Yeah, I think they'll all get on the same page eventually. And then have y'all ever been to our Tri-5 event?
No,
the Tri-5 Nationals.
It is one that I would love to go to because it's a really nice event as well, I hear.
Yeah, it's amazing. You wouldn't think there's that many Tri-5 Chevrolets left rolling down the road, but they'll bring 2,500 to 3,000 of them in that weekend.
Wow.
It's more of a car show than a drag race. They'll bring some race cars in as exhibition, but it's a really cool show, and Chris Sondels does a great job with it. And then that leads us into LS Fest. We call it Fest season. We'll have LS Fest, Mo Party, Harley's, Ford Fest, all of that late in the year, kind of when the weather is the best. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the nostalgia, I can't remember the name of our own event.
Fall Classic.
The Fall Classic.
Fall Classic, yeah, in October. Mm-hmm. So hopefully it's another good event. It's kind of a rundown of our schedule.
The NMRA Ford Festival, that's a big one too, I know, for you guys, and the AMRA.
Yep, the NMRA race. This will be the 26th year for that event.
That's cool.
So it's pretty special to still be a strong event on our calendar. Mm-hmm. NMRA staff does a great job with it, and Holly is paired up with them now with the Ford Fest aspect of it. Cool. So it's another fun event. So
it is nice to have such a large company in your own hometown too. With Holly being
there. It is. Yeah, they've been very good to us and good to work with, and we value their partnership greatly for sure.
Yeah. Hey, so with all these big events that you've been talking about, give us a day in the life of you. What is your role each day that one of these big events come in here?
Oh, shoot. I've been doing it so long now, it's just like on autopilot.
Yeah, right.
But usually come in sometime around 6 to 7 in the morning. Make sure everybody starts showing up, just kind of, make sure everything's okay, and evaluating what needs to be done first, depending on how late we raced the night before or what we were able to get done or what we're walking into the next day, whether it's rain from the night before or whatever. Making sure the guys are getting started to get the track ready. And then just making sure everything goes okay. Now I've got a great team around me here at the track now, with some key personnel that help me make sure everything gets done to where I don't have to watch every little, moving piece.
Yeah. About how many employees? About how many employees do you normally have on a large event per day?
Typically, my staff is probably 10 to 12 employees. A lot of these big events are, outside promoters. Mm-hmm. So they bring a lot of their own staff in. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, my guys know what to do with our stuff. We'll basically operate the racetrack, and control the racing portion of it. So, my guys, they know what to do. And a lot of times I'm taking care of the promoters. If he needs something special, or, hey, there's trash over here that needs to get cleaned up, or this bathroom needs attention, kind of, making sure the promoter is satisfied and happy with the event.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it's tough, but also you have a good group of guys that are helping you. And then on the big stuff, you generally, the promoter is going to be responsible for that side of it. So you're kind of working in conjunction with an outside source to handle that kind of day to day. But I bet it's probably pretty difficult to get all the scheduling correct and then making sure that you have what you need. Now, you mentioned earlier you had Kurt Johnson come and do your starting line. That's a big name. I actually heard his name. He's going to be the track specialist for – he's either Tony Stewart or John Force Racing. I'm not sure which one. I thought it was him.
Tony. Yeah, Tony Stewart.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool that you got that, because he obviously knows what he's doing if Tony Stewart's hiring him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And he's actually going to all the tracks, and he'll be doing the test at the track to figure out what sticky it is, and then he lets them know what kind of horsepower that he thinks can be handled.
Can handle it, yeah.
And he's also a track prep guy, so he goes around and helps get track sorted out too. So it's cool that you're putting that much, getting those type of people in there to get the track correct. It's really cool that you're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Kurt, lucky to call Kurt a friend and good friend, and he's helped us out, several times over the years and gotten to know him better. I don't know when the first year I met Kurt was, but he started coming here with different events, and really like being able to give him a call and run something by him, or like I said, when we needed that transition ground, I didn't have to worry about, I called him and I didn't have to worry about it getting done right. I knew he would do it just like he was, doing his own racetrack, I guess you could say. So yeah, he did a great job, and hopefully the starting line will be good and sticky this year after he gets done with it.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. So I got a question. So if I was a track manager, especially at Beech Bend, I would have a suite on the top of that tower with a nice refrigerator full of refreshments and a place to take a nap. Do you have that?
I do not have that. No, we do have some, like a suite up there, but it's pretty basic. It's just a, table and some chairs. Yeah. But I do have some hiding spots though that I can get
little hidey holes.
Yeah.
Throughout the years, what kind of problems have come up that have made it ingrained in your brain? Like something that came up that was interesting. I'm sure there's got to be. I know that we've had the flood issue. I think that happened through the Hot Rod Union one year. So I think it was, yeah, where they had to cancel it because of flooding, something like that, somewhere in that time frame.
Yeah, I don't remember the last year. 2010 was when we lost a lot of the racing season to the flood. That was when the water got up really high that you see all the photos from. That's an unexpected problem you hope you never have to deal with again, but it's could happen. Lightning strikes are always an unpredictable nightmare, and weather in general. When we're in an area that can get strong thunderstorms and possibly even tornadoes. So if something like that happens during an event, it can be scary, because what do you do with that many people? So, and then other things, we had an incident last year during an NHRA race where a camper in the pit area caught on fire. So it was a pretty scary deal. Luckily, by the time we got to it, several racers had gotten over and put it out with some fire extinguishers. But it's one of those things that you're prepared for a fire on the racetrack, but you don't think about one in a pit area.
Exactly.
But stuff like that can happen.
And as a fireman, I could tell you what you carry for racetrack fires isn't going to be enough to put out a fire in a camper. What I mean? Yeah.
Luckily, they got to it pretty quick before the upholstery and stuff really got hot.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. They go up because most campers are those lightweight materials and plastics and everything else. They're hard to put out. So I'm glad they got that handled for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah,
go ahead, sir.
I can't remember what else I was going to say.
Okay, no big deal. No big deal. As racers, is there anything that we can do to try to help you guys make a better event?
Feedback is always welcome. We like positive better than negative, but sometimes we need to hear the negative too. And then maybe just I don't know about anything racers need to do to make our jobs easier or better, but we always welcome feedback.
Yeah, and that's
if
one
you had a
thing.
good time.
One thing great about drag racing, it seems like at least most of us. I'm not sure about all the events you go to because that's one of the questions I have here in a second. But the events we go to anyway, everybody's very respectable. Respectable people. They take care of the stuff. They're not leaving a whole bunch of trash everywhere. We try to do the best we can to make sure we left the place at least as good as we found it. So on that end of things, I think we're holding up our end of it. But I just didn't know if there was something that racers should know that some kind of secret that you need to let out that people should know to make things better for you guys. Because I know your job's not easy. You're a humble guy. You're sitting here acting like you're all cool and collective, but I know in that brain it's got to be going 100 miles an hour during some of these big weekends. All the things that could go wrong or try to fix before it happens type of things. So
yeah, there are a lot of things that can happen that not everybody thinks about that runs through our minds. But now you're right. Most racers do clean up after themselves and respect the property that they're at. And we have some events where, maybe not so much the participants, but the spectators may not respect it as much. But it's stuff you just deal with case by case.
That's kind of leads me into my next question. Who has the most rowdy fans? Because you've had I know the Harley drags have been there. I know that's got to be a pretty rowdy group of people. And then you've had the MPK stuff has been there, which I'm assuming that's pretty rowdy too. What do you think? I don't know if you're able to really say because you obviously got to make friends with everybody. But who's the most rowdy? I guess is the question.
Ooh, that's hard to say. I'll be honest. The Hot Rod Reunion crowd in the campground late at night is pretty rowdy.
Yeah, I didn't mention that one on purpose because I didn't want to lead you to it. Those guys are rowdy.
Yeah, the Harley crowd can be rowdy, but they're the same rowdy crowd that they were 20 years ago, and they're a little bit older now. They're not as rowdy as they used to be.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm not confirming or denying that we may have witnessed a burnout in the campground at one night. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I guarantee you did.
It's a good time, and I'm glad that we've talked about this on the podcast once before. That I'm glad that you've got to rein that in because it was getting dangerous, and I'm glad that I didn't. Obviously, I don't want to say put stop to good fun or nothing, but when you start doing stupid things,
crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's nonsense, and that's the problem. Is if you let people get away with certain things, they just keep going further and further with it. So I can appreciate it.
You don't ever want to see somebody get hurt. That's for sure. And that's whenever it puts a black eye on the event, the track. On everybody.
100%.
So yeah, there's times when we do have to kind of to pull things back a little bit, but we want everybody to have a good time while they're here. It's part of what keeps people coming back.
Yeah, for sure. At this time, I want to kind of give you, before I ask you Robbie's question, I wanted to give you an opportunity to thank anybody you wanted to thank as far as any type of your employees or whoever you want to thank, sponsors or promotion, whatever. It's just your time to say what you want to say.
All right. Before we get into that, I got I guess a little question for you all.
Yeah.
Do you all remember when the NDRL series ran with the Harley event here?
No, that was before our time.
That was before us.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. You have to ask Robbie about that.
Okay.
He's got some good stories from that. But years ago, and I can't remember what year it was, but the NDRL was kind of new, I guess. It was after, what was it called before NDRL?
That I'm unsure.
Shoot, I can't remember. NPCA or something. I can't remember now. But Dallas thought it would be a good idea to bring the NDRL in as part of, I think it was actually part of the Sports National Open that year in May, and then part of the Harley event. I don't know if it was the June or September event, but yeah, we ran NDRL racing during the AMRA Harley drags. And it was the Harley fans liked it.
Yeah,
we may have done that more than once.
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly.
I'll have to ask Robbie.
I didn't know if y'all remembered that or not.
No, we kind of came into NDRL. Yeah, we came into the NDR around 2018 or 19, so we haven't been with them for a whole long time. But they would be interesting to hear some stories from that. I'm going to have to ask him about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Robbie swears that there's a Harley like still down on the riverbank somewhere. Said one of them rocked his camper going down the pit road one night wide open, and he said it never let off. He said it hit the river wide open. It had to.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Robbie's a good storyteller. We're gonna have to have him give us a couple stories on that. That's cool. All right.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give us some thanks. You know, I'm sure you know there's some people that deserve it.
Yeah. Well, once again, I want to thank you all for inviting me on tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to tell a little bit of our story here at Beech Bend Raceway. And yeah, I just got to thank my staff that stands behind me and helps me long hours, week in and week out. A loving wife that lets me kind of follow this dream and takes care of the kids. And she helps me out here some too on some weekends, but very understanding of long work weekends and a lot of time away from the house. And then just the, my grandparents instilling a good work ethic in me that has, I feel like, allowed me to get to where I am today. And so that's, yeah.
That's all you got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that. All right. So Robbie wanted me to ask you if you have ever sprayed a man with a hose at a starting line while he was wearing boxers.
And he was, and they were not. He had some rips in them too.
He gave me permission to play it right back here, so we're gonna put it up there behind us. But yeah, he wanted me to ask you about it. I think in the video you were off screen though, so you can't be held liable for us. But I think right. I think the idea he was doing the cold plunge challenge, his version of it or something, is what I got from it. But yeah.
Yeah, whatever year that deal started, the cold water challenge, I got hit with it, and then they used up all the coolers full of ice water on me, and so it was kind of cool that night. So he got the cool water from the water hose. Yeah,
oh, that's pretty cool. And and that's probably part of the reason that you guys at Beech Bend are, you're gonna survive it all, because you make friends with the racers. You and Robbie are relatively tight, and that's the kind of relationships you need in order to continue a program like you're doing. So we really appreciate how nice you are to the racers, and we appreciate you coming on our podcast just to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, and
it has been a lot of fun. Do you have anything else, Chris?
No, man, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
So we're gonna let this busy man go, and we really appreciate Broc coming on, and maybe sometime in the future we're gonna probably do one of these live in the Toter Home at one point, either in the Nationals or the fall, one of the two. Maybe you stop by and say hey to us.
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you again.
All right. Thank you, Broc.
Thanks, man.
And we're back. Man, we can't thank Broc enough for coming on. It was very nice of him to give some of his time, talk to us, talk to you guys. It was just a really cool conversation. He's such a down-to-earth, humble guy.
I'm jealous, actually. I mean, to be able to spend as much time as he does at
120
track.
Races.
Yeah, at our favorite track. And, man, that place is so historic, so many memories for us.
I tell you, if we decide to move, I think I'm just going to move closer towards Bowling Green.
Yeah. With that many races, we can race every weekend.
100%.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Broc, again, thank you very much for coming on. It was awesome. Let's just give a quick little story, though, about the campgrounds. I'll tell you this in confidence. Don't tell nobody, okay? But I know we've spoke on it once before, but the campgrounds is wild.
Yes.
Thankfully, they have toned down the burnout situation where people can't get hurt, right? So that happens, but they still such a wild time to go down there and take some adult beverages or whatever with you, and then hang out with your friends and watch people get a little rowdy. And it's confirmed that the Nostalgia Nationals is the rowdiest group they've got.
That's right. That is right.
If you guys are looking for a good time, if you're watching this and you've never been to used to be the Hot Rod Reunion, now is the
Wally Parks Nostalgia Nationals.
Okay. Yes. Make sure you book your event now. If you're going to do a campground experience, you need to get there probably by Wednesday. Yeah. If you're going to camp, because it fills up quick.
Yes.
Such a great time. 100% recommend, if you're a car guy, do it at least once. It's almost like the Disneyland of racing, if you like nostalgia racing.
Disney World.
It's okay, whatever.
Disney World.
Let's
Come
go
on, man.
bigger.
Yes.
Such a fun time down there. So make sure you do it, and we'll see you down there.
Hey, does your wife listen to this or watch?
Probably. I know my wife's dad does.
I wanted you to tell the story about us being down there and she having to bring the trailer down.
Okay, yeah. All right, we'll do it real quick. We got time?
Yeah, we got time.
Okay. All right, here's the story. This is funny. So I drove my truck down there, the one I race now. I drove it just as a daily driver down there for the car show and the experience to the campground. And I overheated the motor from doing some stuff, just driving around.
Just driving around, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can see that in camera. Or if you can't see, if you're not watching it and you're listening, I'm winking. I overheated a little bit, and I was worried about having to drive it back home. So I called my wife up because she was supposed to come down there. I said, "Hey, babe, how about you?" I already had the trailer connected, so she hasn't to do any of that. Maybe not. I can't remember. She may have had to connect the trailer, but she is capable of that. So I'm going to give her credit where credit due.
Absolutely.
So she's like, "Okay, no problem. I'll bring the truck and trailer down there," which is a pretty cool thing for your wife to be able to do because it's not easy to do to drive a truck and trailer, especially the size my truck is. It's a big truck.
Yeah.
She goes, "Well, do I need to load my car on the trailer?" I said, "Why would you need to do that?" And she goes, "Well, how am I going to get home?" I said, "Babe, you can just ride with me in the pickup truck on the way back home."
Oh, man.
And her dad knows that story. I tell it a lot. Family gatherings, it's one of my favorite stories.
Oh,
pretty
man.
blonde moment. And I don't even know if she was a blonde back then. She may not have been.
Oh, man. It's one of my favorite stories, too.
Yeah, she's fun. Love her to death.
Yeah. So, hey, guys, we talked at the beginning of this podcast that ARC, which is Auto Rod Corporation, used to be Auto Rod Controls, right?
Yeah. No, it is Auto Rod Controls now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay. But Rich has graciously offered up a $50 certificate for us to give to one of our listeners. And we came up with a trivia question. And that if you know the answer to this question, then you need to email us at linelockedpodcast@gmail.com. We do not want you commenting because we don't want anybody stealing your answer. Then me and Corey's we'll figure it out. We'll draw it out of a hat
if there's
or something.
multiples, we'll draw it. Or if there's just a couple or something, maybe we'll just the first one that does it.
Yeah, but this is a $50 certificate for Auto Rod Controls. The question is... And you may, hint, you may have to go back to our podcast with him as our guest. He said...
Was that episode 14?
It might be 14.
Okay.
So actually, I'll just tell you, he did tell us this. So here is the question. What year did Auto Rod Controls bring a working version of the 6001 control panel to PRI? What year did he bring the working version of 6001 to the PRI show? So let us know at linelockedpodcast@gmail.com, and we will find a winner, and we will get that to you.
Yep. It's easy money, boys.
Yes.
Just go back if you have to listen, or maybe you remember. Maybe you're a savant of some kind that just knows everything line locked.
Yep.
As it all stored in the old memory. Send us the email. If not, go back and listen. It's a great podcast. If you haven't listened to him before, he's awesome. He's a very genuine guy, very smart guy, and they make a great product.
Oh, yes. And most, anytime you've seen a drag car, if you're new to drag racing or any kind of car racing at all, most likely you've seen one of their panels in their car. In the
oh,
cars.
yeah, 100%. You
They're
see
everywhere.
them all the time on TikTok and YouTube, all of them.
Yeah.
Mostly, a lot of people use them because they're good.
Yes.
They have very little problems.
Yes.
I install more of those than anything else, and I highly recommend the company.
Yep, absolutely. So let's switch over to viewer mail. This one is about the Blue Bayou, the gasser that we had on the other day, Chris Crable. Farm Fresh Racing says, that is definitely a refinance the house kind of car.
100%.
Yeah, great video, guys. Awesome collection that Chris has as well. So basically, that car was for sale at one point, and Corey wanted to buy it.
Yeah, I was looking at options.
Yeah.
HELOC loan, blood transfusions, whatever I had to do, I was going to try to get that car. And I tried for a week or two to try to get the money, and then somebody bought it out from under me.
Yeah, and so Chris Crable has it now, and it is an awesome car. Yep. Hopefully he's going
grudge race.
Hopefully he's going to be doing some racing this year.
Yeah, we're going to grudge racing. Anybody got money on me in the truck? Hey, I went back on my numbers because we talked about his fastest time. I looked back on this last year on the spreadsheet we use. If anybody want any of those type of informations like drag racing stuff that we use, if it's free stuff that we made, we'll send it to you and you can use it as a model.
Yeah.
But we log all our stuff in Excel, and I was looking through there. He said his fastest time in blue was 5:51 in the 8th. Mm-hmm. What do you think my fastest time on the 8th mile last year?
5:58.
5:51.
Was it really?
Exactly.
No kidding.
Yeah, so that we're dead on right now.
Wow.
With those tires, I'm going to kill them.
Yeah.
Hey, and then Dave mentioned in there that he wanted to see if I wanted to get a good old ass whooping because he was going to show up. Yes, I do. I would love for to be beat by Blue IU, but it's not going to come easy, my friend. You're going to have to come correct if you're coming at all.
Yeah, and that car has a lot of history too.
Yeah.
So
it'd be fun to race them.
That's one of your idol cars. So
100%. Yeah, love the car.
Even if you did lose, that would be cool.
No, hey, I'll be smiling either way.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm going to win, so it don't matter.
All right, and another thing.
We may even race pinks.
No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
I don't think we're going to go that heavy. Neither one of us. It's like neither one of us want to lose it.
No. Anyways, one other thing that's coming up that we talked about on the last Line Locked podcast was the trailer. What's it called? The trailer showdown?
What?
What am I talking about?
I don't know. Tailgate showdown?
Tailgate. What am I?
Throwdown.
We're racing trailers now.
Tailgate Throwdown.
Yes.
The Line Lock podcast is sponsoring a class at the Tailgate Throwdown in Arkansas.
No trailers.
April, I think it's 27th.
27th down in Newport, Arkansas.
Yeah. Be a cool race. If anybody's got a truck, no trunks are allowed. So if you got a truck and you want to race, they're going to race street stuff. They're going to race stick stuff. They're going to race outlaws, small tire. They got everything. So make sure that you attend the event if you're nearby or if you have a truck and you want to race. We are going to try to make it ourselves.
Yes, definitely. One of his guys that is actually one of the sponsors also over at YouTube channel Square Body Stuff. He wrote in on the comment and said, "Great show, guys. My homie Ryan Wang,
not Wing,
well, Wang, getting this show put together. The Tailgate Throwdown is going to be the best truck only event. You do not want to miss it, and we're excited for it."
Yeah, I'm 100% excited. We're on board. We're excited about it. Ryan is. You could after talking to him for a few minutes, you realize he's got something in him. He's got that. He's got that bear in him.
This drive.
Yeah, he's got drive. This is going to be a great event, and it's the first of many, I'm sure. So we're really lucky to be able to get on board at ground level and sponsor up a class so that we can help promote it. And again, we're going to try to attend, and we're going to try to take not only the class of Outlaw, I'm going to try to take that top ET.
Oh.
So with those big meets behind this camera here, I feel like I can get it done.
Yeah.
But we're going to have to see. I heard at the end of the Well, I'm not going to say nothing negative. So it's just, I'm going to tell you, we're going to have shoots out probably at like the 400 or 500 mark.
Yeah.
Because I assume I'll probably be going around 150.
Yeah, I think you're going to have a target on your back.
Maybe 150 in the 8th. I'd say maybe 140 is what I'm going to guess. Maybe 138.
All right.
So that's my goal anyway. The track surface is really going to be the equalizer. We'll figure out how that goes on.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see.
All right. So this is an awesome time to just hit this button right here.
Okay. Hey, guys, be sure to see us on the Blood Brothers Racing YouTube channel, the live recorded version of it.
Yes,
Video
live
version of
recorded.
Yeah, there you go. Anyways, we are Line Locked. We're just totally blowing it, man. Line Locked podcast. Here we go.
You need to get your shit together.
I do. See ya.
All right.
Bye.
See you guys.